Hey guys, it's Casera, and today I'm going to be doing my November week 4 reading vlog. And I have a lot of books that I'm currently in the middle of. Like, I'm in the middle of a ton of books. So first I'm going to start with audiobooks. My current audiobook that I'm listening to is The Burning White by Brent. I have about 6 hours left in it. It's a 40-hour audiobook. I listened to about 32 hours last week, and I have 6 more hours. I only have 2 days left with this audiobook, so I'm hoping to finish it either today or tomorrow. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to wait another 11 weeks to get the audiobook back again, which would suck. So yes, I'm hoping I can finish it within the next 2 days before I have to return it to the library. So far, I'm really enjoying it. Like, I was really iffy about it at the very beginning because The Burning White is the 5th book in the Lightbringer series, which the first 3 books in that series I was super into, and I loved them. The 4th book was a little bit disappointing, but I still really enjoyed being back in that world and being with those characters. At the beginning of The Burning White, for some reason, I just wasn't into the book. Like, it just didn't happen for me. But like, as I got more into it, the plot and everything started to pick up, and I'm really enjoying it now. Like, there are some things that happen that just completely devastated me, and there's just so much more left in this book. So I'm definitely excited for it. Other audiobook I was listening to was The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexandre Dumas. I was listening to it during the 2nd week of November. I put it on hold because I got The Burning White off of hold from the library. So once I finish The Burning White, I should, in theory, be returning to The Count of Monte Cristo. I'm about halfway through it. That is a 52-hour audiobook, so I have like another 20-something hours left in that one as well. So I seriously doubt I'm gonna finish both of those this week. I'll definitely finish The Burning White. I don't know about The Contempt of Monte Cristo. So for my physical books, in the 2nd week of November, I started reading Deadhouse Gates by Erikson. This is a really slow read for me, and I want to do it slowly just because I feel like I absorb this series a lot better when I read it slowly. So this is the 2nd book in the Last Book of the Fallen series, which is a huge series that has tons of fans, and I'm definitely really excited to finally get into the series. I'm not very far into it. I'm right there. I've only read the first 2 chapters, but so far I'm enjoying it, and I've heard that the 2nd book is really good. So I'm excited to continue on with this one this week. But last week, since I was on vacation, I wanted to try something a little bit lighter, so I picked up Words of Radiance by Brent and Sanderson, which is the 2nd book in the Stormlight Archives, which is another huge series that has tons of fans that I'm really excited to get into, and I'm not that far into it at all. I'm on chapter 3 for this one as well, so I'm very much at the beginning of both of these books, but I'm definitely excited to continue on with these. Hopefully I can make good progress in these this week. They're really big, so I doubt I will finish them, but I'm definitely excited to continue on with those 2. That being said, there are 2 other books that I'm definitely going to get to this week. So Starsight by Brent and Sanderson is coming out on the 26th, which is this week. I pre-ordered it, so I should be getting it on the 26th. I'm super excited. It's the sequel to Skyward by Brent and Sanderson, which came out last year. I really enjoyed Skyward. Definitely excited for Starsight. And also, since I was on vacation last week, I didn't get this book that came out last week, and that's Queen of Nothing by Holly Black. If you guys know anything about my channel, then you know I love this series. I didn't expect to love the series. I started the series completely begrudgingly, and then I like fell in love with the series. I actually reread The Cruel Prince and The Wicked King in anticipation for The Queen of Nothing, which I have book talks on both of those if you guys want to check it out. But I just got this today. It's like a week late, but I'm so excited for it. So I'm actually gonna go start reading this. Oh, totally forgot. If you missed my week 3 reading vlog, I will link that up in the cards for you. It's Monday, November 25th, and last night I finished The Queen of Nothing by Holly Black. Of course, I finished The Queen of Nothing in one night. I finished both The Cruel Prince and The Wicked King in one night, and The Queen of Nothing is shorter than both of them. So yeah, it was probably one of like my best reading experiences all year. I think part of it was just I was really anticipating this book. The first like 75% of this book is like just go. I loved it. That being said, it's probably my least favorite book in this series. Like, I think The Cruel Prince is my favorite one. The Wicked King was really good when it first came out, and then upon reread, I didn't like it as much. Queen Queen of Nothing, I'm just kind of like, the Cruel Prince and the Wicked King were better than this, but it's still a really great end to the series, and I still really enjoyed it. I think part of it is the very, very end was just not what I was expecting from this series, if you know what I mean. Like, I was not expecting that from this series, and it kind of annoyed me a little bit, but like the first like half of this book was amazing and probably the best part of the series, in my opinion. So I'm a little torn on this book because it definitely did not meet my expectations, but my expectations were unreasonably high just because this was my most anticipated book of the year. But I still really loved it, and I ended up giving it 5 stars. I will probably be doing a full review on this one, so I will link that up in the cards for you guys. Oh, also, I forgot, I have made quite a bit of progress on The Blinding Knife. I'm almost done now. There's only like 3 hours left in the book. It is so good. Oh my gosh, the ending of The Blinding Knife is so good. Like, I wish I had a physical copy now, just because I feel like I'm rushing myself with it, just because I have like less than 24 hours where I have to return the audiobook. So I feel like I'm rushing myself, but at the same time, the book just moves really fast also. I don't know. It's really, really good. I really love the ending. Like, the first half of this book was kind of difficult to get through, but like the second half of this book is totally worth it, and I'm really enjoying it. As of right now, I wouldn't consider it my favorite book in the Lightbringer series, but it's at least my second favorite book in the series. So I'm definitely really enjoying it. And I'm excited to see how it finally ends, because there have been so many twists and turns in the ending. Delicious. Okay, it is Tuesday, November 26th. Last night I finished The Burning White by Brent Weeks. I really, really love the main action of the story. I did think the ending, after the main action was over, there was like a long time where it was just like ending the series. It felt a little long to me, which is weird because this series is pretty long. Like, each book in the series is pretty big. I think the first one is like 600 pages and they only get bigger from there. But I've never felt like they were too long, if you know what I mean. I felt a little bit that The Burning White was a little too long, but I did really, really enjoy it. It's probably, I would say it's my favorite book in the series, just because there's so many things that happen, especially in the second half of this book, that are crazy, but like really, really good, and I really enjoyed it. I do think the front half of this book dragged a lot though, which I don't know if it was because I was listening to the audiobook and I just prefer these types of book as physical books. I do really love the way the audiobooks were done. Like, it's one of my favorite audiobook narrators that narrates these books, so like that's why I decided to listen to the audiobook, because that's what I ended up doing with The Blood Mirror, which is the 4th book in the series. I had the physical book, but I ended up listening to most of it on audio just because I really love the audiobook production. I kind of wish that I did have the physical book for my read of The Burning White, because I feel like I would have enjoyed it maybe a little bit more that way, just because it's the type of book I like to read physically. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed it, and I'm giving it 4.75 stars. So it's not quite a 5-star book for me. I think part of it, like that quarter star knocked off because the front of the beginning of the book, it felt very much like the ending of The Blood Mirror rather than part of The Burning White. And then you really get into more of the Burning White plot line, and I really, really enjoyed it. It's a really good ending to the series. It's definitely a series that I'm gonna have to reread just because there's so many reveals towards the end, or just like in all the books actually, there's so many reveals that I feel like I'll have a completely different opinion going into the first book knowing what I know now. But I'm not gonna reread this year, obviously. Like, I just finished it, but eventually I'm gonna have to reread this series because it's definitely one of my favorites that I've read this year, and I really, really enjoyed it. So when I finished the audiobook for The Burning White, I needed to pick up a new audiobook. I know I said I would return to The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexandre Dumas, but I got the hold for The Time of Contempt from my library, which I've been waiting for like about 6 weeks now. So I've been waiting for this hold for a really long time. So I decided to start the audiobook for Time of Contempt by Andrej Sapkowski instead. Like, it's a short audiobook. It's only like 11 hours, I think, so it won't take very long to read. I'm already like 2 hours into it, so I'm gonna finish it in time to return to The Count of Monte Cristo at some point this week anyway. So this is the second novel in the Witcher series, and the first novel kind of disappointed me, Blood of Elves. I really expected more from it after all of the short stories, and I really loved the short stories. Blood of Elves kind of disappointed me a little bit, but I'm actually really liking Time of Contempt so far. So I'm not very far into it, but I'm definitely enjoying what I've read so far, and I'm excited to see where the series goes, because this is a really beloved series by a lot of people on BookTube. So I definitely want to see what all the hype is about, and I'm excited for this. Also, I've totally forgotten about this, but my unwrapped book for like 2 weeks ago was Fairest by Gail, Carson, Levine, and I didn't even start it. So I decided to start it last night since I finished Queen of Nothing pretty early. I decided to start Fairest as my physical book yesterday, mostly because I was really tired after work and I wanted something that's just super easy to read. And this is, I don't know if it's a children's book or a middle grade, but it's one of the two. So I felt like it would be really easy to read. And I do want to give it a shot. So I'm using this as my unwrapped book for this week instead of 2 weeks ago. Yeah, I'm doing really bad on all my challenges and like sticking to my TBR this month. Like it's just not happening. I've really enjoyed this one so far. I'm like 3 or 4 chapters in. It's set in the same world as Ella Enchanted, but it's in a different kingdom within that world. And it's been interesting. We'll see how this goes. I don't know if I'm gonna like it or not, but it definitely has that very fairy tale vibe, and I'm excited to see what happens in this one as well. As you guys know, I pre-ordered Starsight by Brent and Sanderson, which comes out today. I should be getting it later today. Like, it's out for delivery by UPS right now, so like I should be getting it soon, and I'm super excited for it. So I'm planning to start that one tonight when I get back from work. So yeah, I'm just gonna be in the middle of tons of books again, but it's okay. Like, it'll be fine. It is Wednesday, November 27th, and I just finished Fairest by Gail, Carson, and Levine. I don't know how I feel about this book, because in some ways I enjoyed this book because it's definitely fast-paced and it has an interesting plot. I had difficulties with the characters, and while I liked the romantic relationship that was in this book, it was very much insta-love. The romantic connection really didn't go deep enough for me to believe it was there, if that makes sense. By the way, this is a Snow White retelling, but it takes on a thematic feel to it because it talks a lot about beauty and how people view beauty and things like that. And for me, like, it just felt very on the nose, if you know what I mean. Like, it felt like a middle grade novel, even though most people consider this YA. Like, it felt like one of those middle grade novels with those strong morals, or even a children's novel with like that moral thing where you're trying to teach a child something, and it just, like, it didn't work for me as much as I wanted to. Like, I like the characters. I wish there was a little bit more characterization there. I like the plot, but the thematic elements that where it talked about beauty and things like that, I felt were a little shallow. Which, as I was reading it, it felt like a middle grade novel and I enjoyed it, but if you put it in a young adult perspective, it feels a little childish almost. I don't know. It just, like, that side of it didn't work for me, but I liked the other side of it. So I ended up giving this one 3.75 stars. Also, my Goodreads goal for this year, I had set to 240 just because I ended up reading a lot more at the beginning of the year and met my Goodreads goal really early on at the beginning of the year when it was, I think I put it at 120. Well, this was the 240th book that I read this year. So I met my Goodreads goal with this book. So I'm happy about that. I didn't really expect to meet it this early because like 240 is a lot and I've never read that much in one year before. So kind of crazy, but I have read a lot this year, like a lot. So it makes sense. I have made quite a bit of progress on the audiobook for Time of Contempt by Andrej Sapkowski. I have a lot of driving today, so there's a good chance that I might actually end up finishing this one just because I have so much time to listen to audiobooks. But I'm actually really enjoying it right now. I'm really into like the storyline that's going on right now and really interested in seeing where this book is gonna go. So like I have a feeling like this book is where the series starts to get good. So I'm definitely excited to continue on with this one. But if I get a chance to do some physical reading today, which I don't know if I will, this guy showed up last night. I'm so excited. This is Starsight by Brent and Sanderson, which is a sequel to Skyward, which I read earlier this year and really loved. And I'm definitely excited to get to the sequel. Like, so. It's Thursday, November 28th. Yesterday, I finished Time of Contempt by Andrej Sapkowski. I like this book a lot more than Blood of Alice, which was the first book. And I'm really excited to continue on with the next book in the series. I really enjoyed this. I'm excited to see where these characters are going. I'm really starting to love these characters a lot more. I especially like Geralt and Yennefer and like everything that's going on with them, but Ciri is great too, and I'm definitely excited to continue on with this series. I won't be continuing on in December just because I'm doing all of my rereads in the December, but in January I will definitely be continuing on with the next book in the series, and I'm really excited for it. After I finished that, I did decide to return to the audiobook of The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas. I'm hoping to finish that over the next couple of days so that I can finish it before December. There are 27 hours left in that audiobook though, so I don't know. We'll see how that goes, but so far I'm definitely enjoying it. I haven't read much since I've returned to it, but it was really easy to get right back into the book. Like I remember everything that was going on before, so definitely excited to continue on with that one as well. I don't know if I mentioned it, but I rated this one 4.25 stars. I'm just getting too excited to talk about Starsight. I started Starsight last night. It's so good. Okay, first of all, the first chapter, I was a little worried that I wouldn't remember exactly everything that happened in the last book. The first chapter does a really good job of giving us all of those details that we need without making it super boring, because the first chapter is, of course, in the middle of a battle, because that's how Brent and Sanderson like to start books. This is so good so far. I'm really, really excited for it. I forgot about the kind of attraction that is happening in this book, and I love it. It's so good. I also really love our main character, Spensa. She is fantastic. She is hardcore, and she's so good, and I'm really, really excited to see where this is going. There are some really great mysteries that Brent and Sanderson is setting up right now, and I'm really excited to see the payoffs for those, because going to be amazing. I just know it. So yeah, Starsight has been amazing. I'm liking this one a lot more than I did Skyward, and I loved Skyward, so really, really excited for this as well. It's Saturday, November 30th, and I just finished Starsight by Brent and Sanderson. I really enjoyed this book. I expected to enjoy it, and I enjoyed a lot of things about this book. I especially enjoyed the main character. The main character is one of my favorite characters. I love how ambitious she is, and she just kind of runs into things and doesn't always like plan ahead. I think she actually did a pretty good job of planning ahead in this one, and I enjoyed that about her. I felt like she understood the world a little bit more, and then this one also gets really political, and I love it when books get political. Like, it's one of my favorite things that a book can do. So I really enjoyed it. I do have one slight complaint, and that's that most of our side characters from the previous book are not really in this book, and I loved the side characters in Skyward. Like, Skyward was so good because of the side characters, and they're just like very barely in Starsight. And there was no way you could really add them in. Like, there was no way that happened. And like, I can see where he tried to add them in a little bit, but it just doesn't work for me. But I did really, really enjoy Spensa's whole plot, and I ended up giving this one 4.75 stars. And since it's Saturday, I think that is all for this week. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching. I'm gonna be posting at least 4 videos a week in December, so consider subscribing. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up to support my channel. All social media links are in the description down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.